Superman versus the Flash. Now, we've already seen this fight play out a little bit in the Justice League, so what's the point of making a whole video about it? Well, because the new Flash movie came out now, Barry got a whole bunch of new powers, he was able to fight against a whole bunch of different Kryptonians, and crushed a whole bunch of them. So now I'm interested. I want to revisit this fight, see if the Flash stands a better chance now. Or if that's still too unfair, it is Superman after all. Maybe we can scale it back to Man of Steel Superman. See how the Flash does against him. Either way, let's get into it. What's up guys, I'm Daniel and this is DanCo. We do fight breakdowns every week, plus the occasional power ranking video like this one or things like that. So if that seems interesting to you, we'll sit back and enjoy the video. Hit that like button. If you want to, we'll hit the subscribe button while you're at it. Now let's get to it. Barry Allen was a student at Central City College who was struck by a bolt of lightning one fateful night, gaining the ability to move at incredible superhuman speeds. Using these powers, he became a superhero in Central City known as the Flash, fighting against criminals, even becoming a founding member of the Justice League as he helped to protect the Earth against Steppenwolf and his parademon army. But at his core, Flash is deeply motivated to try and prove his father's innocence for the grisly murder of his mother. So much so that he'll use the Speed Force to travel the multiverse and go back in time, all for a shot at saving his parents. Flash's primary power is obviously his superhuman speed. He's the fastest man alive. He's so fast that he can run faster than the eye can see. He can move through cities or across the country in an instant, or even slow time down to a crawl. The world is frozen all around him. People become like statues, and Flash is able to live and operate in this space between time. He can stop and perceive everything around him in slow motion, then react accordingly, usually saving people, like saving Iris from a car crash, saving a whole bunch of babies as they're falling out of a building, saving a whole bunch of people lightning fast. That's what the Flash does. Now, Flash's speed definitely does vary. He's not constantly going all out or moving at top speed in order to try and preserve energy. But when he's operating at his best, Barry is able to move at the speed of light, arguably much faster than light speed. And light is moving at approximately 300,000 kilometers or 860,000 miles a second. Time behaves differently around the speed of light as well. So as Flash moves way beyond the speed of light, he's able to go back in time. And go back in time again and again and again. An alternate version of Barry went back millions of different times. And while Flash started out a bit goofy and uncoordinated, he would even stumble over his feet and knock himself out of a fight. By the time his movie came out, Barry is a whole new class of hero. He's trained hard with Batman and tapped into a whole new level of power. Like originally, Flash didn't even know how to properly throw a punch at super speed, but Batman was able to show him how to alter the density of his fist, meaning that he can now punch at super speed and with super strength. Zack Snyder has even said that the Flash can punch at light speed, so basically pulling off an infinite mass punch from the comics, where your fist has the same density as a white dwarf star. It's just that Barry is too afraid to use this power. But that was back in the Justice League, so who knows? A few years later and Barry might not be quite as afraid. Either way, Flash is now strong enough and skilled enough to take on Kryptonians. Now, most of the Kryptonians he fought against were unadapted Kryptonians, and it's kind of tough to say just how powerful an unadapted Kryptonian actually is. We know it's not the same as Superman, but maybe it's half a Superman? 2/3? After all, General Zod took a nasty bull rush and beatdown from a rather pissed off Superman. He wasn't adapted yet. Namek and Feora were able to fight against Superman 2 in Smallville, put up a really good fight, and neither of them were adapted either. Flash was able to basically one-shot a lot of these Kryptonians, blowing apart their armor and taking them out of the fight. And that's not the only thing that Flash can now do. He can kick up tornadoes in an instant. As he runs, he generates lightning and a kinetic charge. He can then throw this lightning around at enemies. And it's some seriously powerful lightning too. Flash is able to use it to stagger and even knock down Kryptonians. He's also mastered the ability of phasing, starting with when he phased through legit planetary destruction after the Unity merged. Then on top of that, Flash can also use this phasing offensively. In short, while Flash might have started out a bit raw and new to this whole hero thing, by now he's completely mastered his powers, become one of the strongest heroes in the DCEU.
Full transparency, I've never done battle. I've just pushed some people and run away.
I'll take you in without breaking you, which is more than you deserve.
Krypton is dying, and no one really wants to admit it. Well, no one except Jor-El and Lara. They're the only ones that seem to have any clue what's going on, and their only goal from then on is to save their son Kal-El. So they built a baby-sized spaceship and just launched him onto outer space, sent him hurtling towards Earth. I don't know why they didn't decide to build a rocket big enough for all three of them, but I guess they figured they would just kill themselves and their alien son was better off being raised by some random strangers in the middle of Kansas. They really lucked out too, because Kal landed on Jonathan and Martha Kent's front yard. And so instead of becoming a tyrannical dictator with godlike powers, he became Clark Kent, Superman, the world's greatest hero. Thanks to being exposed to a yellow sun, Superman, like all Kryptonians, gained godlike powers. Like, literally godlike. He's the most powerful member of the Justice League. He's easily more powerful than Wonder Woman. He's even on par with Hot Boy Zeus over here. And one of his chief powers is super strength. And Clark has done a whole lot of impressive stuff. He's definitely put those muscles to good use. But his best showing was shifting a whole tectonic plate in order to prevent an earthquake. And even though this happened off screen, and all we have to base it on is a newspaper article, why not include it? I mean, it's really not that crazy. Thor is literally doing stuff like this, and we've seen other Supermen do similar things. And in order to do something like this, to shift a tectonic plate, well, it would require 10 teratons of force and energy, or country level strength, meaning that you could destroy a country with a punch, if a country was small enough where you could destroy it with a punch. So some crazy strength. And all that translates over to how Superman throws a hit too. I mean, just look at the clashes between him and General Zod, all the destruction that caused. Look at how he was able to send Doomsday flying up into outer space, or just send him sailing. And then look at how he destroyed Steppenwolf. Steps is pretty tough too. He's fought against his own Doomsday in the past, and even destroyed a moon in their fight. He survived the destruction of a moon. Couldn't stand up against Superman and his punches. And here's the thing, Superman isn't just crazy strong. He's not just able to throw a mean punch, but like the best fighters out there, he can definitely take a punch too. Like, look at his fight against Doomsday. This monster's sole purpose was to kill Superman. He saw one statue of the big guy and he was done. It was all over from that point. He was gonna kill him. And at the beginning of the fight, Superman is actually doing really well. Gets him out of Metropolis, gets him out of the city, gets him up into outer space. And of course, that's when the military decided to launch a nuclear missile at his face. Probably not the best idea, especially in hindsight. But here's the thing, while Superman was injured, he took the blast. He took a nuclear bomb to the face. It was right back in the fight just a few moments later. It's even possible that Superman was weakened from the kryptonite from Batman earlier on in the night. So if that wasn't in play, then he might have just taken that nuclear bomb no problem. And that's not really the only time Superman has taken an attack on that just astronomical level, because there's also the World Engine. The World Engine is a Kryptonian terraforming machine used specifically to convert a planet's atmosphere and the literal composition of the world itself to become more like Krypton, making it so that Kryptonians can easily move on in there and colonize the place. Just the World Engine landing down was enough to completely annihilate a mountain. So that already means that it's made out of something that could withstand a mountain-destroying impact. And then not only did Superman destroy it, well, he did it while weakened and standing under a gravity beam that was single-handedly terraforming the Earth. And I mean, yeah, it was a slow burn, but this was gravity that was altering and changing the entire planet itself. Superman was at ground zero. He was taking all of that force, all of that power, and it was actually overpowering it and flying through it. That's crazy. But here's the thing, Superman isn't just strong, and he isn't just tough. No, those aren't the only two things he has going for him. He actually got a whole bunch of powers, like his freeze breath, or his hypersonic scream, or his heat vision. Oh man, his heat vision. He's able to slice clean through metal and blow stuff up. And we used to believe that he could reach temperatures as hot as 10,000 degrees Fahrenheit. But now, well, Superman's heat vision might actually be way hotter, way more powerful. In Zack Snyder's Justice League, we learned that Kryptonian metal could withstand its core being superheated to 3.5 million Kelvin. No problem. Which is absolutely no laughing matter. The center of our sun is only 1.1 million Kelvin. And yet, here's Superman consistently burning and cutting through Kryptonian metal.
Stay down! If I wanted it, you'd be dead already.
Just gotta go faster than the speed of light, far beyond the speed of light. Gotta break the rule, Barry, and you've gotta do it now.
So who wins? Well, let's break it down. Now, when it comes to strength, Superman is easily the physically strongest character in the DCEU. Sure, other people will try and push him for that top spot, Doomsday, Black Adam, but at the end of the day, it's still Superman at the top. He can shift whole tectonic plates in order to stop earthquakes. He overpowered the World Engine, even ripped apart the Mother Box, a force that was threatening to actually destroy the world. On top of that, he was able to absolutely annihilate Steppenwolf, like Clark absolutely bodied him. And then Clark is insanely durable, arguably invincible. Superman can take attacks from all the Justice League combined. He can take every attack that Doomsday can throw his way and instantly get back up and keep on fighting. He's able to withstand enough gravitational force and power to terraform the Earth. He's even survived a point-blank nuclear bomb before. I don't think it's that much of a stretch to say that this Superman is a planetary level threat, and say that he's leagues stronger and tougher than the Flash. Those are pretty much undisputed, cold, hard facts. Just like we know for a fact that the Flash is faster than Superman. Clark might be more powerful, but Barry is always going to be faster. We've seen that play out during their brief fight. And not just that, but Barry was leagues faster than the other Kryptonians during their fight. He could take down multiple Kryptonians all at the same time, and I don't think he was really tagged once. Of course, I'm saying it's so definitive, but it's really more of a matter of degree, and it's in that gray middle area that we can see who wins. Because here's the thing, for as fast as Flash is, Kryptonians can kinda sorta keep up. Like a few minutes after Flash dodged Superman's initial attacks, Superman was then able to dodge Flash's super speed charge and sent him crashing into Aquaman instead. With a much more experienced Flash, General Zod was able to adjust and synchronize to the Flash's movements and took him out by hurling Supergirl straight into him. So Kryptonians can react and kinda keep up. Same is true in reverse, for as tough as Superman is, and even though Barry himself said that they couldn't actually beat a Kryptonian, that proved not to be the case. He began taking several Kryptonians down all by himself. He used his lightning to put down some other Kryptonians, really busted up Namek for sure, and it got to the point where the alternate Barry even killed Faora with some Kryptonian metal. So it's not going to be as simple as Flash can't hurt Superman, Superman can't touch Flash. Both of those things can in fact happen, it's more just which happens first. And if you look at it that way, even though it does feel like Flash could put up a much better fight now, I think Superman would still come out on top. Because, I mean, he's Superman. Even though Flash should now be able to hurt him with his attacks, still, the gap between Superman's durability and Flash's durability is way, way bigger than the gap between Flash's speed and Superman's. It would take a lot of attacks from the Flash to put Superman down, so it would take a little while. We've seen that it doesn't take long for Kryptonians to adapt to Flash's speed and then tag him. Superman hits him once, throws him off his rhythm, then follows up with a second hit, and Flash is done for. And that's probably how it's always gonna play out, especially since Flash will definitely need time and a good number of landed punches to actually begin to beat Superman. Now, the one argument that you can make for the Flash winning here is time travel. Barry doesn't actually have to be winning the fight in order to just go back in time and start the fight all over again. Maybe try a different strategy this time or something. And if he finds himself stuck in a loop where this is just an unchangeable event, he will always lose this fight to Superman no matter what, well then Flash can just rage quit. He can leave the fight altogether, travel even further back in time, and beat Superman when he was just a baby who recently crash landed in Kansas. Much easier to beat a baby versus actually beating Superman. But I don't think that's actually in character for this Barry, so I really doubt he'll utilize this strategy, even though it probably would work. But of course, all this is talking about Justice League Superman. Maybe that's still a little bit unfair. Maybe that's still a little bit out of his pay grade. After all, Flash was fighting against Man of Steel era Kryptonians. So how would he do against the Man of Steel era Superman? Well, I think this is a much closer fight. After all, he was able to fight against Namek, the other Barry even killed Faora. It's definitely possible for the Flash to beat this level of Kryptonians. Problem is, Superman is still above those guys. He was able to take them down 2-on-1 even when they tried to double team him. And that's also just Faora and Namek. Flash couldn't even get close to taking down General Zod, who's much more on Superman's level. On top of that, none of the Kryptonians were able to give Barry their undivided attention. There were a ton of other distractions in the fight, what with the other Flash, Batman, Supergirl, the US military, all that. Superman can give Flash his undivided attention, and you don't want this guy focused in on you. So yeah, closer fight. I think Man of Steel Superman is slower and a bit weaker, so Flash can dodge more attacks and do more damage, but the outcome will probably still be the same. Flash is much more powerful now, but Superman is gonna go out on top as the ultimate powerhouse in the DCEU. Superman wins. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.